If you're going to be using GA4, that's going to be totally different. But respectively, in the universal analytics that we're still using today in 22 and 22, most people are still using, you go into the individual dimensions. So basically, right above your geographic report, there's going to be a thing there that allows you to filter your geographic report by traffic source. Okay, unfortunately, it doesn't let you go down to, I mean, you could do it by setting up a custom filter. It's actually called filters in reality, not dimensions. But you could filter your geographic report by an individual traffic type, which, so again, let's say here is your map here, directly above it here, you click on that button for your filter, and you're going to filter down to paid traffic, which is the default filter that Google has available for you. And that paid traffic refers to basically Google ads. It doesn't refer to all your like Facebook ads and stuff like that necessarily. Respectively with that, then you're going to take a look at your geographic report and you're going to see how much of it's coming from other countries, okay? If you wanted a more accurate read, by the way, also, you could go ahead and go to the source medium report on Google Analytics, and then from a secondary dimension, you're going to put the geo and then location, and then you'll see what countries each click is coming from. So you can see potentially, that also Google Ads specifically, and not get Google having categorized other paid traffic that you have in there, just to be sure of it. And respectively, if you go ahead and do that method, you'll know which campaigns are driving all the international quote-unquote bot clicks for your account. But if you are over 10%, even to say, I want to say 5% of the traffic, your paid traffic is coming from international accounts, at 5%, you probably got a problem. At 10% or more, you definitely got a problem. Why 5%? Well, the tracking that Google Analytics has is not totally accurate. They screw up. They think clicks are coming from one country when it really comes from another, and it's always going to screw up to some degree. So the more of it you have coming from other countries when you're supposed to be targeting only the US or just the UK or wherever you're from or wherever you're targeting, certain percentages of it will always say it's coming from the wrong countries. And therefore, statistically, the more of it says it's coming from other countries, the more likely that it is actually occurring versus, there's a margin of error that Google Analytics will have, as with any other analytics programs you have, to where it's getting confused, the system's getting confused where your traffic is actually originating from versus what it thinks it's actually coming from. So with that said, if let's say you have 10% of your international traffic coming from other places, you could have a problem already, okay? Respectively, in order to get rid of that, there's two basic things that you have to do, which I'll talk to you in about give you in just a second. But before I do that, I also want to just say why these bot clicks occur, which actually cause most of the false international traffic that you're paying for that you shouldn't be paying for. Respectively, what happens is there's people that set up bots to mine data mine information. So there's people that create data lists, marketing lists, people that want to sell you crap, people that just specialize in collecting lists and then selling them to people that want to sell you crap. They will put together a bot that will look for all the companies, let's say per se, in your space. Most commonly they're from India, as I've looked at geographic reports, given their IT savvy, whatever. Then they'll create a little bot that will create and will look for all the companies in the US, all the roofing companies. And so they can grab the telephone number and email address if it's in a naked form on your website, put it into a database, and it's just always searching because there's always new roofing companies, so that it's always searching. Every week it's looking for new ones it hasn't found before, and then therefore that bot will keep hitting your site. And one of the ways that they make these bots is by clicking on Google ads. Why? Because respectively, one, somebody who's advertising probably is willing to spend money on whatever crap they're trying to sell you. Two, it's just really easy to develop a bot that will click on an ad, or just to say the ads are just one source where it looks for the information. So it doesn't necessarily single out ads. It looks through the Google Maps, Map Pack, or Google Maps. It also looks at organic. It also clicks on the paid ads. Because if you were going to do that for yourself, why would you not do them all? If you could do them all, why not do them all? And it does. It gets the most possible information that way, given everybody who advertises also isn't ranked and isn't in the map. So you would ultimately come up with more as a whole if you went ahead and made sure to always click through every single ad you find in that, with the example like I gave you before, a roofing company, for example. Respectively, also with that said, what they will actually do, and this is something I've witnessed personally, which is why I'm telling you here, is they'll type in, this bot will be programmed to type in like roofing companies in the US. And then the bot just searches that over and over again every day. And there's more than one person doing this, so if they type that in, any ad that it finds, it'll click through the ad, pull the information, which it calls data scraping. It'll scrape the information off the website, put it in a database, which is basically just a spreadsheet, and then it moves on to the next ad it can find. All done automatically for you, and they have a great list that they can sell or make money from after it's all said and done with. So with that said, the whole idea that, with Google ads, if you're, let's say, a local roofer, and this happens a lot more to local companies, I will admit, but this can happen certainly to anybody who's running ads, national players, e-commerce companies, whatever. So this is all relevant to you no matter what, but it's the most egregious with local companies. And the idea, if you're a local roofer, since everybody knows what that is, I'll just speak about that. If you're a local roofer, you're trying to market, obviously you can only, let's just say that not a chain here, and even with the chains, you're looking to target people only in such and such small geographic area, which you can actually physically travel to. There's a market radius that you have that you're targeting. Usually it's the general metro market of whatever metropolitan area you're in, Denver, San Francisco, whatever. And if anybody finds your ad outside that area, even if they wanted to hire you, it wouldn't make any sense paying to talk to them, paying to have them see our ad, because we can't serve them. We're just going to say, sorry, we don't serve your area, click, we're done. All of it's a waste of time and money. So the fact that somebody can develop a bot that says, where they are searching on Google, roofing companies in the US, and our ad showing up there is really, it pisses some people off, we'll just put it that way. The fact that they were trying to tell Google, they want customers, and Google, they think that Google should basically be smart enough or helpful enough to just get them people from the area in which they're advertising, not people from India, for instance. And even then, bots, which they should be able to sniff out pretty well. They get mad when they discover this. When I show it to people, I mention to people that they've had this. We, obviously get it corrected, but there's a way to easily prevent that from the bots to having even seen your ad, so therefore they can't click on it, which is the only solution there is to have them not click on it, because they're going to click on it. They don't give a shit whether or not you wasted $10 every time their bot clicked on your ad. And from the standpoint of Google, not to badmouth Google, but they're not extremely, we'll just say, incentivized to stop it per se. Even though I don't want to give Google a bad name here, they give you the tools to tell Google to block it, but by default, it's not blocked by default. So there's the catch. In order to turn off what you need to turn off to make sure you're not going to show up for somebody truly outside your area, if you're a local company, or if you're a national company that don't want to show up internationally for people that or maybe even if they aren't bots, they're just searching in the U.S. They're looking for basic information. Let's say they're looking for hair products. A lot of times what people will do outside the U.S., they'll research on a U.S. website because in the U.S. our marketing is so much better, and then they go to their local store and wherever they're from and buy the product, and they just used your site as a research tool, basically. That happens actually quite a bit as well. So in order to prevent both of these scenarios from happening and eating up your budget, you got to change and go into your location settings of your account to wipe that thing out. And there's also a second thing that you will do, but getting into how you actually fix this now, you're going to want to, before I get into this one, there's two parts to this method. One of which, go in to see if this is happening to you after you've acknowledged this is happening to you. The next thing to immediately do is to go into Google Ads, click on your campaign, then click on locations, click on your campaign, go to and click on settings, okay? From the settings menu, you will then click on locations, the drop down for your locations. From there, you drop down, you're going to click on another drop down, which is towards the bottom of that window that pops up, advanced settings. From there, you're going to get a section that says, how would you like to target? These are advanced settings. Presence and interest, or presence or interest. I can't remember how they phrase it, but it's presence and interest, okay? Presence being, they must be in my, you put in your location targeting that you want to target. Let's say it's New York or just the U.S. as a whole or whatever. And with that, presence and interest, the presence part of that presence and interest means they must physically, as they tell you, it's just conveniently hidden in the advanced settings there. They must be in your targeted area for your ad to trigger. If they're not, even if somebody's trying to, like, let's say you offer roofing in Denver and somebody's typing in Denver roofing companies, but they're from Minneapolis, your ad still won't trigger, assuming that it was just based upon presence. Because if you're not, it's just like it sounds. If you're not present in your area that you have indicated you want to target, your ad will not trigger. But the interest part of presence and interest means that if you are interested in information, for a service or product in a certain area, your ad will still trigger. Going back to that example I just gave, if you're from Minneapolis and you're searching for Denver roofers, your ad will trigger if you're the Denver roofer advertising and trying to advertising for Denver customers. So your geographic targeting could just show Denver, and that's it. If you have presence and interest ticked versus just presence only ticked, then anybody who's searching for a Denver roofing company anywhere in the world can have your ad trigger, which is where the bots come in, where the researchers come in, which kill your ROI. So you can see where I'm going with this. To fix most of the problem, you've got to be able to make sure you have ticked presence or just have presence only versus presence or interest. Sorry. Instead of presence and interest, you just click the presence only. And with that, these researchers, these bots won't be able to find your ad. Even if they're looking for somebody in your territory, they won't find it anymore. So it's really a simple fix. It's just something that most people don't know about it. And respectively, you'll have to do that for every one of your campaigns. So it won't just work to do it on one campaign. If you click presence, click save, now you got to do it to all the rest of your campaigns that you have actively running. Make sure to do it on any new campaigns you have from now on. If you want to know how much of your budget was wasted, I already gave you that way to validate that on Google Analytics or your analytics program that you're using, like Piwik or some other program. You can go into your search terms report and see for yourself. Let's say, for instance, that you went into your Google Analytics account and you saw 30% of your traffic was coming from India, right? Which shocked you. At that point, I almost guarantee that if you go into your top performing campaign, meaning like the campaign that got the most clicks, so performing is a not really the right term, but whatever got the most clicks, click volume, go into that campaign, click on that campaign, and then click on search terms, which is what is called the search terms report will show up for you, which is the list of terms that people typed in before they clicked on your ad physically. So you have keywords and then there's search terms. Keywords are what you bid on. Search terms are what they actually typed in to get to your site from your ad, given that your keywords will never only trigger exactly what you have there as a keyword. It's depending on if you put the brackets or the quotes around it or nothing at all, it'll generate searches similar to it and be more liberal based upon which one of those three options I gave you, brackets, quotes, or whatever, but it'll always never be just exactly the keyword. So the search terms report is meant to show you what they're typing in so that you can decide if that keyword's worth it, or do you just need to add a few negative keywords to clean up how liberally Google's having your ad show up for that particular keyword. And so, basically with that, you can find from in that report then certain search terms like I just mentioned here, like roofing companies in the U.S. or it just could be, and this is primarily just for local companies. This is where I've seen this. The international or national players, I should say, this doesn't apply to you, but if you're a local company, the most common thing you'll see that eats up your budget is these bots. Not the researchers so much, but the bots. Roofing companies in the U.S., roofing repair companies in the U.S. When they're searching for that, that's almost always bot activity. Once you change the going from presence and interest to presence, this will stop happening. Then you'll know the bot can't find your ad anymore, and you fix the problem. For you national players, the more so the problem is. Okay, today's video we're going to talk about how international bot clicks can basically take out your whole PPC Google Ads campaign in no time flat, basically, which at the very least, if you think you got a good campaign running already, you could be spending a good chunk of your actual money, your ad money, on these international bot clicks. I'm going to talk about what they are, how they work, what these bots are there for in the first place, and how you, of course, are going to be able to take care of those nasty bots so they will not bother your campaigns. You won't have to spend a single nickel on them once you've done the following method for clearing them out of your account. That said, I will get right into the content here today. If you're running Google PPC ads, you need to look into seeing if you have any bot clicks on your ads from other countries. One way you can easily do this is go to your analytics that you have that will tell you geographically where people are coming from. And of course you can audit and see what percentage is coming from other countries, of which the larger percentage there is, the more likely it is you obviously have a problem. Given geographic targeting isn't an exact science, even Google Analytics itself gets it partially wrong, which I'll get into in a second. But realistically, and the reason why I'm making this video here, depending on your situation, this can be up to 5 to 95% of your clicks at any given time if you have the wrong settings on your Google Ads account itself, obviously taking care of any profit that you would be earning out of the ads. So I'll explain how to take care of this issue for you, what causes it, and so forth on the next part of this video. So to prevent this from happening and see if it was going to happen to your account, basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to Google Analytics, like I said before. You're going to go to the Geographic report, which basically in Google Analytics it's under, if we're talking about Universal Analytics, which by the time you watch this video, eventually it might be GA4. But in Universal Analytics, at the time of making this video, it's under you go in the left-hand column of your Google Analytics account. You go under Geo and then Locations, and then from there you can actually see by default the entire world. And then how many clicks you're getting from each country. So you want to show all countries and then see how much of what your traffic that you have is coming from outside the area in which you're targeting. to be able to do this correctly, so from your geographic report that shows all your traffic from every country you got, you also have to go in Universal Analytics, which again, this will be different by the time you start using and switched over outside the country, doing research by using your website, because you have a beautiful, informative website, but they're never going to buy anything from you. In that case, you don't see anything in the search terms report like this that would deadly, give a dead giveaway that you are having researchers click on your ads. From there, you've got to pretty much just rely on Google Analytics data to see, to show you, is there likely a problem, i.e., is it over 5 to 10% of the people coming in from international that Google shows, and if so, then switching to presence only will fix the problem as well. Same solution, slightly different type of people that come in from outside your area, depending if you're local or national. That said, there's one other thing you can do, both national and local companies here, to make sure you don't get people that are outside your area that you could physically service or deliver a product to click on your ads. And that is, beyond this, you will want to negate out all the other countries that you are not targeting through your location settings to really narrow out and eliminate the people that are going to be using your site for research or data collection, which is still research, which is the same thing, to completely from your account, from ever being able to see your ads. Because the presence tool seems to do most of the job most of the time, but if you want to be double extra sure, go ahead and find a list of, you could usually, by Googling this, you could find it, a list of negative locations for Google ads. And if you don't have a list, I'll provide one. Just contact me at Corey@GaryTPPC.com, where you can use through Google Ads Editor. You can copy in all the 190 plus countries that are not the US into the location exclusions inside each one of your campaigns inside your Google Ads account. And so Google always has the locations that you want to target, but also they have a sections for locations you want to specifically exclude, which, if you're wondering why they do that, I don't understand why they do that personally, because it's confusing to people, and it kind of leaves I don't know, it leaves it open to technically them, if their international traffic slips through, they can say, well, point to, oh, you don't have any negative locations. Kind of like a loophole is basically what I'm saying, but I don't want to get creamed here by Google. For whatever reason it is, you use negative locations as a way to explicitly tell Google, I never, ever want clicks from these countries that are outside my location. So you can target USA only for the positive locations, and then for the negative locations, it's every other country. And if you combine that with the presence only advanced location targeting setting, combine those two, you'll never for sure have a problem after that. It's just a pain in the ass to be able to add 190 countries as a negative location, which is another thing. You should be able to, at least if they're going to have a negative locations setting inside your Google Ads account, you should be able to easily exclude all other countries besides US, but you can't. You got to manually, Afghanistan, Armenia, Argentina, whatever, keep going. And so therefore, it may be helpful to just get our list for you to apply to your account. No charge for that, just contact our firm. We'll provide it. We apply it to every campaign that we work on here now. So, because, why the hell not? It takes 2 seconds to do, and it eliminates any potential waste that comes through forever then on. So in terms of our effort to deliver results for our clients for what they pay us for, it's a win for us. So with all that said, I will say, as a small extra bonus, I didn't give you really a whole lot of ways to make money on this video, which I always like to include something. If you are targeting USA wide, and I'll give you one for local players as well too here, but for national companies that are targeting the US specifically, US wide, I recommend, instead of targeting USA wide, to target each state individually. so that after 90 days of running your campaigns as usual, business as usual there for yourself, you can go into the locations report, the geographic report inside Google Ads that tell you where people clicked and what country they're from, because Google Ads also has that. And assuming you have your conversion tracking set up, which if you don't have that, that's what you do before anything else. But from there, it'll tell you which state converts and at what rate. There's a pretty big disparity between California and Kansas for most markets. We're talking about upwards of 50%. So within that, if you want a bigger ROI, all you have to do is just go in and use what is called a bid adjustment formula. You can find that on Google real easy. I use this for all of our clients' accounts. And you simply adjust your bid up or down for each state individually, depending on how well that state converts. And then you'll reassess and redo that calculation every 90 days. Technically, if you were busy, you have other shit to do, you could do this once a year or whatever. But we do it every 90 days because the market shifts. The thing about why people say, why do I need a PPC manager? Well, you should get results hiring a PPC manager. It's, yes, they manage your account, but they should also be getting you more results all the time, whether it's 20, 30% a year growth or whatever it is. But they also manage, so any changes, they deal with it all for you. They make sure stuff doesn't go off the rails. Respectively, they can look at your data there and then maintain that kind of stuff for you. And given that the market shifts all the time, what my main point was going to get to here, stuff's changing all the time. There's new advertisers in, there's new advertisers out. There's the rates in which Google's charging for the ads goes up and down. The rates in which Google charges you for the ads goes up and goes down. It's a constantly ever fluctuating system, which there's many parts which are all fluctuating, and you there is no just set it and forget it. To a degree there is, but the longer from which you set it, the more it's just going to go off the rails. It's just how it is. It's like trying to drive a car and not doing maintenance on it. You can go a long time, but the longer you go, the more fucked up it's going to be once you eventually have to go refix it, so to say. Every 90 days, you should be adjusting your bids on each one of these locations, which should also be done on time of the day of the week, because they convert differently, what device the user's on, what keyword they typed in, if you're using manual bidding or enhanced CPC bidding, which I use, what gender they are, what age they are, what parental status they are, what income demographic they are, which you could all do through Google Ads, and keep updating that so that basically you never are not getting the most conversions that is profitable to you as possible at any given time and at any given snapshot of what market is out there for you to deal with at any given time. For you local players, as I said, I would get back to you. Essentially with that, it's a similar thing. Instead of just targeting Denver as a whole, if you're a roofing company or tree cutting company or whatever, break it up so that you're targeting each individual city within your metro differently, so that within that you can go to your location settings the same way as I said for the national guys and gals, and then do a bid adjustment on each city, because each city has a different pocket of demographics that convert differently and earn differently from one another. And so you will get quite a bit more results, potentially twice as much profit if you go in there and you provide micro adjustments on each individual city than you would just targeting everybody as a whole, because certain pockets are extremely profitable and some are not at all, based upon a lot of times how much money they have. So that would be what I would do if it were my business. Respectively with that, if you want to go further with it, I actually set up a campaign for each city within that metro area that we're targeting, so that we can have the name of that city in the ad when the person searches for it. We can have the name of that city on the landing page when they hit the landing page, and we can have a telephone number that matches the area code of that city if it's different, so that they feel like for sure they're not taking a risk or making a potential mistake calling us because we don't serve their area. That has a massive impact on your results. And so, in which would be the similar thing, because each city, as we do this on every campaign we work on now that's for a local company, each city has a lot different results than other parts of the metro area. And then with that, there's certain parts that obviously are too crime ridden, it's too dangerous, too big of a liability for you to enter, and you can exclude those. Doing that method and not just targeting your metro area, instead of wasting money on that and saying, shit, we're not going to go down to that area where like you need to wear a bulletproof vest basically, so you don't have to waste money from it right from the get-go because you just did the proper maintenance and setup with your account up front. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the video. I'd really appreciate if you would give this video a like and consider subscribing to this channel, because frankly, I put this channel together because I feel like you guys out there need really good quality information on how to make PPC work. It will work for everybody if you just have the information and put the time in to do it. I have a lot of videos like this coming out. You can learn a ton about PPC from someone who actively runs a few dozen accounts at any given time. And for sure we'll have all the resources to make money with PPC if you just stick with learning how the game is played. That said, I also have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how I physically build campaigns for clients here to actually guarantee their results, which we do at our firm up front. And so with that said, you may want to see things more along those kind of lines with screenshots and stuff instead of this overview stuff that I do on this channel. Might be of use for you as well. If you have any questions about this information here, stuff that you think I should have covered and did it, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel. So with that said, hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in my next video I come out with another great PPC strategy on it. It's coming out soon. See you later.